I know it's been freaking forever. Okay, we're on episode 101 for our bad things. And I really wanted to wait until my couch arrived from Costco. I bought this cool ass couch, but it still hasn't arrived. So we're going to make do with this black chair and my full from snooze travel. But here we go. Episode 101. I don't know why I said that so aggressively. I get off on my man with other women. We came in very strong. I know I'm different, but I also enjoy the touch and feel of another woman's body. Anyway, I met this chick and we hit it off. Both were looking for the same thing and in the same predicament, could play with other women, but no males, as both in relationships. That's cool. We meet up, have some really good conversation, vibe was crazy, and then that was us all over each other. The sex was out the gate. Best lady I've ever been with. It was a mutual thing we share and both still talk and crave each other to this day. Fast forward, it was time to part ways. She said she found my man attractive. I said, so what are we doing? We're going to continue this. And that's exactly what we did. My man was out cold as he had work in a few hours. He woke up to a mouthful of melons and his hands in dripping wet kitty. The way she rode my man was something I'll never forget. She annihilated the ish out of him and it was so hot to sit back and watch. Wow. No judgment, but it sounds like open relationships are like a thing now. Next one. I want to share my story of when I lost my V card. I was 15. 15? No, shut up. I can't talk. I was 15, dumb, and just wanted the attention of being wanted. I like this boy. We'll name him Keitama. Keitama Bear K-Drama. He invited me to his house, which he lived in the sleep out at the back. I walked in and he had his friend over. I can't remember much as it's been 15 years, but I remember the sound of Usher playing in the background. As me and Keitama were about to do the bad things, I stopped him and asked, was it okay to do it in front of his friend? And he said, yeah, he's asleep. I've actually done this before. Me being the dumb little girl I was, I continued and done the bad things while his mate was supposedly asleep on the couch. I went home straight after we finished. Me and Keitama met up a couple more times until fast forward to 2 months after, I got a text from a random number asking me how I was. I asked who it was and it was the friend who was on the couch that night. Whee! Let's call him Cute Guy. So now we started talking for 2 weeks and he invites me over. 2 weeks, girl! We chilled, watched a movie, and one thing leads to another and we full on do the bad things. He's gentle and sweet, takes it slowly, and shows me how a girl should be treated. Oh, he brings up my first time losing my V card, and I say, what the F? What do you mean my first time? You weren't even there. He smiles and reminds me of how he was on the couch, listening to me being dicked down by his mates. He goes on to tell me how he felt stink because he could hear me and feel that my first time must have been sore from the way I was making noises, which in my case it was. I knew he was awake. I actually was dumbfounded to see how caring he was and have always regretted that I lost my V card to the wrong friend. Me and Cute Guy became F-buddies for 6 years on and off, which eventually we realized how much we actually cared and loved each other, with or without being in a relationship. We had other relationships outside of our F-buddy phase, but we were always single. From 2016 till now, we haven't heard from each other. We both have our own little families, and till now and forever, he will always be the one that got away. Moral of the story, if you ever end up in a situation like this, choose the right friend wisely. No, if you ever end up in a situation like this, make sure there's no friend on the couch. Next one, story time on how I found out my late mother's sister was messing around with my mother's partner of 10 years. Oh, shit. My mother passed away unexpectedly on the 3rd of July last year, 3 weeks before my 21st birthday. Not even 7 months after she passed away, I noticed my mum's sister, who we will call Jody, was always hanging around my mum's partner. We will call him 10. Was he a 10 out of 100? Like, why a 10? Was his what name said Fulu? Like, okay, I'm intrigued. Anyway, 10 started staying at Jodie's house, but Jodie had messaged me saying 10 had been talking silly, like he wanted to compare himself, and that was the reason why she had been keeping him at her place. Even I know that's not true. Fast forward to the day I caught them. Jodie had messaged me that morning to see if I was coming over to see her daughter. I said yes, but told them we were going to the beach first. We ended up staying at the beach for 3 hours and was getting ready to go home. But I was like, oh, we'll go see my cousin real quick, Jodie's daughter. So we went over there. I knocked on the door and it was locked. Jodie's daughter came to open the door, but as soon as she opened the door, she ran down to her mum's room and shouted that I was there. I walked into the room and Jodie and 10 were in the bed together. I knew it. I said, what the F are you doing? And Jodie replied she was just sleeping, and I just walked away and left. I was shook. It took everything in me not to fussy her as she's disabled with muscular dystrophy, but that bitch is yuck and so is he. Not the muscular dystrophy, sis. Maybe he was strengthening her muscles. Next one. So I'm going to keep this as an anonymous story. But while I was in Samoa, I found out my man was cheating on me multiple times. So I gave it a couple of months, made him feel comfortable in our relationship, but he doesn't know who runs the game. Oh, babe, you cheated, but I'm going to show you who runs the game. So one night we went clubbing in Samoa, and his cousin turns up and starts a convo with me outside the club. He said, do you remember me? And I said, no. But did you? And he said, I dropped you off at the airport in Samoa, but still didn't ring any bells. Fast forward to inside the club. I noticed he kept giving me the eyes, but didn't think anything. When the clubs finished, they finished at 12 a.m., my boyfriend went to get drinks from the bar. Then his cousin whispered in my ear he wants to marry me really bad. Are you sure he didn't whisper, Pepang for Mal? Because some people do that. Later on that night after the clubs, we went to an after party, and on the way there, it clicked. I remembered him. He was my boyfriend's cousin from America, and I was shocked because last time I heard, he had a wife. Fast forward, we were all at the after party drinking. We ran out of drinks, so my boyfriend went to the shop to get some more with our friend. This guy kept hinting he wanted to do the bad things, but mind you, there was over 20 people, and all of them knew I was in a relationship. So I made an excuse to his cousin saying I lost my phone at the back of this building and could he help me find it so no one would suspect anything. We both went back there and you already know what happened. After we were done, it was dark, so we were holding hands and kissing. Moral of the story, don't cheat on me because I'll get with your cousin, your uncle, and your nephew, which I did all of the above. # I run the game. And that is on period.